Kia ora guys, welcome to this week's bonus half?
Yeah.
What are we calling it?
Bonus episode.
Bonus episode of the Wholesome half hour, and in this episode we're going to be talking about term 3 transitioning to term 4 holidays and the importance of them. And I think a lot of what we talk about in holidays in the past is how to utilise them in the best way to make you happy.
Yeah.
I want to talk. Happiness is up.
You should watch those out.
You should definitely be doing stuff in these holidays that make you happy as well. But I cannot stress this enough. These holidays should also be taken as a real opportunity to prepare for your exams.
Yeah.
As awful, and probably that's the last thing that you wanted me to say right now. It doesn't have to be an intense amount of study or anything like that. But I think not doing anything over those 2 weeks is
a mistake.
Because
in the waiting, or stress in waiting.
If we talk about, okay, so a little bit of psychology for y'all. We're going to talk about Emery House's retention curve. And
everyone just switched off.
Yeah, everyone clicked off. No monetization. But not that they care. But essentially, the way that it works is that if you revise content regularly, on a regular basis, you will retain more of the information. Now, what happens for a lot of us around term 4, especially if we learnt the externals at the beginning of the year, midway through the year, if you just straight can't remember it because you struggled through the classes, these 2 weeks are a good chance for you to try and put yourself in a position where you're comfortable in going into your exams, whether that be just knowing what standards that you're sitting, maybe just doing a wee audit of yourself. How comfortable are you feeling with everything? Have you gone through a checklist or something? Which subjects are you struggling with the most? Which subjects do you need to potentially put the most study into? But not doing anything over those 2 weeks doesn't mean that you just, say you go into the holidays at like this level of understanding of something. It's not going to stay like this if you do nothing over those 2 weeks. It's going to go down. So not doing anything doesn't mean that you stay the same. It means that you're going to be losing information.
Yeah.
And so that is an important thing as well. And over the other holidays, kind of doesn't matter as much. You're just going through internals. You probably just finished the term with an internal. It doesn't really matter. In this case, it's important to be trying to think about ways in which you can make it easier for yourself around exam time, because everyone knows it's hard to revise when you didn't even vise. And
and it doesn't have we're not asking you to study for 6 hours a day or something like that. Literally, if you could do, even if it was just an hour, 1 to 2 hours, even say an hour and a half, if you did that every single day for the holidays, 6 days a week or something, you'd be so much better off than if you did nothing. Or even if you tried to do 4 hours twice in the holidays, you'd be way better off with a 1 hour, 90-minute session every day. Yeah. Just I'd encourage you wake up, don't sleep in a little bit, but don't sleep in until 12 o'clock. Wake up at 9, study till 10:30, and then do whatever you want. You have the whole day. You have 14 hours. I can't count very well. 14 hours.
That isn't my strong suit. I'm a media student. But that's exactly it.
That's what I sort of do.
No. I've been really mean to you this.
Wow.
Well, everyone watching it will be like, this episode ends. Go on. Adieu. So, I think it's important to remember around this time that you only have 4 weeks of your next, roughly 4 weeks of your next term anyway, and then you have to be doing your own stuff anyway. And I know each school structures the way that they do things differently, but I know when I was in high school, the way that my school did it, those 4 weeks were catch-up time. So it was scheduled throughout the year that nothing was on in term 4, except we had a resub week or reset week. We had tutorial classes on things, and we were finishing up standards or tying things off. Maybe an internal a portfolio subject, your writing standard in English or something like that. But my school at least used that as an opportunity to tie off things for the year rather than give you more content, which especially meant that if you wanted to be studying for your externals, you had to be doing that in your own time. unless you had a lovely teacher that didn't have anything else to tie off and you would be revising it in class as well. in saying that, it's not enough. Like, you need to be able to be doing some things on your own as well.
Yeah.
And starting in the holidays means that rather than having like 4 weeks, you have 6 weeks before you go into your exams. And 4 weeks is still plenty of time to be doing things, but you will be having to be in school, having to do a bunch of other things as well. You probably have extracurriculars. Year 13s having mental breakdowns about leaving high school. Like, there are a lot of other things going on around this time that people are dealing with.
Busy.
So if you get a jump start of it in the holidays, you will thank yourself later for it. Even if it's just understanding what you do and don't know.
Yeah, even if it's understanding what you do and don't know and making a bit of a plan of like literally, like, it's very, like, you could think like it's easy to just have it all, literally just write down like, what exams do I have, 5 exams, what standards are there, there's 3 standards for each thing, what do I know, what don't I know, how much time do I need to dedicate to each of these, and just like laying it out, getting a study planner, and just like laying out like where you need to, like, what you need to study, when, how much study you need to do for each thing, and then like putting in some time into that and blocking that out. I think that's really important. 100%. And I think it can make a huge, it makes it way less stressful, because I never did this. I was never very successful at this whole thing, like when I was in high school. But
it's
now
hard,
it is hard. It's not easy. It's not
hard.
easy to tell yourself to sit down for 90 minutes to work on something that you're not going to have to like to work on an exam that you don't have to sit for another like month and a half.
Yeah.
But it makes a huge difference. I know, like at uni now, like I usually start studying for my exams like 2 weeks before, and I literally only do like 1 hour sessions. My attention span's like quite short.
But you work around what you know you can do.
An hour session for like 2 weeks. That will deliver results rather than trying to cram, like rather than just clearing your schedule the day before. Like your memory retention is going to be way less.
Yeah, and that's how our good boy Ebbinghaus comes into it, because it's not about just doing one big revision. It's about small incremental revisions is much more useful than doing like one big stint of what's it called? How do I not know this word? Cramming. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
No, it's not one. But no, it's cramming. How did I forget that word? But yeah, cramming. Okay. So here's the thing about cramming.
Cramming's better than nothing, just for the record.
Cramming works to an extent. To the extent that, you might pass that paper, but you actually don't understand anything.
You're just able to recite
the point of that?
facts.
Quite frequently, you don't actually get what's going on, and probably the next day you'll forget it all anyway.
Your attention's going to be much
What is the point of that? And I think by doing cramming, like solely focusing on cramming, you kind of have to think to yourself, am I learning this for the exam, or am I learning this because I value my education right now?
Yeah, no, definitely.
And there's a bit of I think it's a cognitive dissonance, where you think one thing, but you also like think the opposite at the same time. Like, I know that most students really do value their education. I'm not trying to like shade everyone. They value their education, but also there's that at the back of their mind that's like, cramming, no.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of fight between the angel and the demon on your shoulder, you know?
Yeah. I guess I was looking at some research yesterday because I had to. But it was about like habit formation, and it was about it was in the context of like people who are inactive like joining a gym and like having successful, because people who join gyms, like more than 50% of them like drop off within the first 6 months. So it's like the fitness industry is like biggest problem. But they were looking at like how like consistently going, like I think it was like 4 or 5 days a week, even if it was literally just for 20 minutes, like that's enough to get people to keep coming back. Like it's all about, at the beginning stages, it's about frequency and consistency, not intensity.
Yeah.
Like you could literally show up to a class for literally 20 minutes, like take all the options. But if you showed up consistently, you're much more likely to stay on and have a successful like fitness journey. The same way with studying, if you just like study, even if it was literally 20 minutes or half an hour, if you did that every day in the holidays, you'll be much better set than if you tried to like cram.
100%. And obviously this isn't a PSA to you're being lazy, pick up your soap or anything like that. It's just you have a chance now to make life easier for you. Think of future you. What would future you want current you?
Will future you be regretting the decision that you didn't study the holidays?
Exactly. You want to lead a life where present you doesn't hate past you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Nothing worse than playing yourself on a...
You played yourself. Yeah, straight up.
But yeah, that's advice. Go set aside some time and do some studying. The funnest way to spend your holidays.
And I'm sure we'll be releasing content and stuff related to, you know, ways of studying and that kind of thing as well. So be sure to keep an eye out for that kind of stuff as well.
We will take 2 weeks off and we'll see you first day back next term.
Exciting. See you guys.
Yeah.